Welcome to Beyond the Dark, where we plunge headfirst into the realms of the unexplained, the mysterious, and the extraordinary. I'm your host, Jay Rockwell, and together we'll navigate the shadowy corridors of ufology, explore the world of cryptids, and venture into the cosmic unknown. From extraterrestrial encounters to the secrets of the paranormal, we leave no stone unturned. Join me as we embark on a journey that transcends the boundaries of reality. Hello, everybody. How we doing tonight? I hope everyone had a great weekend. It is September 9th, 2024. I'm tired. That's how we're going to open this up. I know it's supposed to be Beyond the Dark, but I'm allowed to talk about me too, right? Like, at least for 30 seconds. We've had back-to-back weddings out of state on 2 weekends straight. First, I'm in Ohio. First, we started off with a road trip down to North Carolina. Beautiful wedding. Congratulations to Ian and Abby. Everything was lovely. And then we just went to a wedding in Pennsylvania at the Duquesne Country Club. Extravagant. I expected celebrities to come out of the woodwork. It was amazing. Congratulations to Bobby and Mary. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. But I'm tired, okay? Shout outs to, the in-laws who helped with little man Lincoln. Shout outs to my mom who helped out with the little man Lincoln on Saturday. Whew, man. It is exhausting. It is exhausting to be social, and probably laughing at me, but, I don't know. It's work, man, but man, was it fun. Nice to get out with the wife, see family, and celebrate good times. You know what I mean? Not just getting together for the bad. But hey, it is another episode of Beyond the Dark. I think we're on episode 19. I could be wrong. This could be 18. I don't know. But tonight we're going to talk about the Marfa Lights. We're going to explore the unexplained phenomena of the Marfa Lights. These are mysterious glowing orbs, and they're seen near Marfa, Texas. And I'll be completely 100% honest with you, before this topic came up, I was not aware of the Marfa Lights. So it was pretty cool. So we're going to discuss about theories, about the origin and the history of the sightings, and it's going to be real good stuff. But you know what we like to get into first? We like to get into the news. But I want to throw something out there real quick to the community. I actually had Howard Storm's publicist, Jody, reach out to me from Kratos Publishing and ask for me to promote Howard's new book. And I asked for a script and everything. I haven't received one, but I just wanted to put it out there. I don't even know the name of the book. But guys, Howard Storm has a new book out there. And if you don't know Howard Storm, please check him out. He's been on the Art Bell show before. He's talked to George Norrie. And his NDE experience is hands down my personal favorite story that I've heard to date. Not that I've heard a million, but Howard Storm's Hellish NDE. We streamed that last year, actually, last September. If you want to go into the live section and look that up, it's a great episode. But Jody reached out to me and said that Howard himself actually brought it up, that he had seen that we streamed that Art Bell show last September, and he felt like Beyond the Dark's audience would receive his book well. And so she wanted to see if I would give it a plug. And I'm like, of course, that's a no-brainer. Give me a script. I haven't gotten one. But I thought I'd mention it. Maybe by the next episode, we'll actually have an official little script for Howard. And you know me, of course, I'm going to go for the gusto and be like, hey, man, will Howard talk to me? I'll If I can get on a call with Howard Storm and talk NDEs, how cool would that be, guys? But before I go blabbering on, I just wanted to let you guys know about that possibility. Kind of cool, right? But shout outs to Howard Storm, and please support him by buying his latest book. But hey, without further ado, we're going to go over the news bits for the week of September 9th, 2024. In an exciting discovery, researchers from William and Mary's Virginia Institute of Marine Science have found a brand new species of Antarctic dragonfish near the western Antarctic Peninsula. This cool new fish, named Acarotaxis gouldae, or the banded dragonfish, can we just do that? Can I just say that? Get me on the pronunciations here. The banded dragonfish is not only an example of the surprising life forms that are hiding in Antarctica, but also it highlights how fragile the ecosystem down there really is. At first, the researchers thought they had found a species they already knew, called Acarotaxis nudiceps, but after running some genetic tests, they realized they had something different on their hands. By comparing the DNA from their samples with other dragonfish stored in collections in places like Yale and the Muséum National d'Histoire Naturelle in Paris, they spotted some key differences. The DNA showed that this was a whole new species. Andrew Corso, the lead scientist on this discovery, worked on the project during his PhD. Corso and his team examined adult samples of the new fish and noticed some clear physical differences. For one, Acarotaxis gouldae has two distinct bands on its side that the other species doesn't have. This new fish had been hiding in collections for a while, but no one had realized it was different until now. Corso pointed out how important it is to look at both genetics and physical traits to fully understand new species, especially since the world of fish classification often relies on genetics these days. The team didn't stop there. They also used a method called time-calibrated phylogeny. Phylogeny. I feel confident in that. Okay. To figure out when this species separated from its close relative. Turns out, Acarotaxis gouldae has been around for about 780,000 years, back when glaciers covered most of the Southern Ocean. The researchers think a group of these dragonfish might have gotten trapped under the glaciers, where they adapted to the extreme conditions and eventually became their own species. Dragonfish are a key part of the food chain in Antarctica, feeding animals like penguins, which have already been struggling as the region warms up. Unfortunately, we don't know much about these fish because they live so deep in the ocean. What we do know is that this new species seems to only live around the western Antarctic Peninsula, and they don't reproduce very often, making them vulnerable to changes in their environment. The fish are also at risk from krill fishing in the area. Krill, tiny shrimp-like creatures, are a big target for international fishing operations. But these operations sometimes accidentally catch young dragonfish too, which could harm the population even further. Corso and his team believe we need to be more careful about fishing in the area until we fully understand the impact it could have on species like the banded dragonfish and the rest of the ecosystem. Interestingly, Acarotaxis gouldae wasn't named after a person. Instead, it was named after the research vessel, the ARSV Lawrence M. Gould, which has been a key player in Antarctic research. The ship's contributions to science were so important that the researchers decided to honor it by naming the fish after the vessel rather than the famous scientist Lawrence McKinley Gould. Sadly, the ARSV Lawrence M. Gould is no longer in service, as its charter ended earlier this year. It played a major role in gathering research data from the Southern Ocean, and without it, research in the region may face challenges. Corso hopes that by naming this new species after the ship, people will recognize the need for more resources to continue studying the amazing biodiversity in Antarctica. Ever wonder if aliens sleep? It's something we take for granted, but scientists are finding that many planets, ones where life could exist, don't even have a day and night cycle like we do. Imagine living in a world where it's always day, or night, or Alaska. Here's the thing. Earth actually has creatures that live in complete darkness, like deep sea animals or those hidden underground. They might give us clues about how life on other planets could survive without ever seeing the sun rise or sunset. Now, let's talk about numbers. There are billions of planets in our galaxy alone that could potentially support life. How do scientists figure that out? Well, our Milky Way galaxy has anywhere between 100 to 400 billion stars. A huge portion of these, around 70%, are cool red dwarfs, also called M dwarfs. They're smaller and dimmer than our sun. Back in 2013, a study estimated that about 41% of these M dwarfs have a planet in the Goldilocks zone. This is the perfect spot. Not too hot, not too cold, where liquid water could exist, making life possible. But remember, we're just talking about potential here. We don't know if any of these planets actually have water yet. Still, that's nearly 29 billion planets in these zones just around M dwarfs. And that doesn't even include stars like our own sun. Here's where it gets interesting. These planets, called M Earths, are different from our Earth. Because M dwarfs are so much cooler, their planets orbit really close, and this creates a super strong gravitational pull. Over time, this force slows the planet's spin until the planet gets tidally locked. That's science speak for when one side of the planet always faces the star and the other side is in permanent darkness. Dark side of the moon, anyone? Yep, endless day on one side and eternal night on the other. A great example of this is Proxima Centauri b, a planet just 4 light years away from us. It's likely tidally locked too. So unlike Earth, these M-Earths don't have day and night cycles, and they probably don't even have seasons. But here on Earth, pretty much everything, humans, animals, even bacteria, relies on the rhythm of day and night. Our bodies follow a circadian rhythm, which controls things like sleep, body temperature, and even how we respond to medicine. Ever notice how some people feel more awake in the morning? That's because of these natural cycles. But what if life on these tidally locked planets evolved without these rhythms? Maybe they don't need rest the way we do. To get a sense of what that might look like, we can study creatures on Earth that thrive in places far away from sunlight, like those living in caves or at the bottom of the ocean. For example, deep sea creatures and even bacteria in our own gut have biological clocks that aren't based on light. Naked mole rats, which spend their entire lives underground, have body rhythms synced to temperature and rainfall instead of the sun. That's pretty wild. Now, there's also a chance that tidally locked planets still have cycles, just not ones based on the usual day-night system. Some scientists have run climate simulations to predict what life would be like on planets like Proxima Centauri b. They found that the strong temperature difference between the day and night sides could cause extreme winds, atmospheric waves, and possibly crazy weather like lightning storms. These weather patterns might create their own natural rhythms, like how Earth has jet streams. Life on these planets might end up syncing to those patterns instead, developing biological rhythms based on temperature, humidity, or rainfall cycles instead of time. Or who knows, maybe evolution would take an even stranger path. Imagine a species that lives on the day side but migrates to the night side to rest. Weird, right? At the end of the day, pun intended, if there's life out there on these tidally locked planets, it's probably going to be way different from what we're used to. The only thing we know for sure is that it's bound to surprise us. Alright, folks, lastly, here's something wild out of the world of science. A team of researchers has figured out how to destroy cancer cells using vibrating molecules. Yeah, you heard me right. They've got these molecules to shake so hard that they literally tear cancer cells apart. So here's the scoop. Scientists used a special molecule called aminocyanine. Usually, this molecule is just hanging out as a dye in bioimaging, like when they want to spot cancer cells. But these scientists had a new idea. By hitting aminocyanine, oh man, that's going to take a minute. Aminocyanine. Okay, there we go. By hitting aminocyanine with near-infrared light, the molecules started vibrating in perfect sync, and they vibrated so intensely that they shredded the outer layer of cancer cells. It's pretty awesome, right? These molecules are already pretty damn smart. They're good at sticking to cells and staying stable in water, which makes them perfect to cancer detection. But now they've got a whole new purpose, wrecking cancer cells like little molecular jackhammers. That's the nickname the scientists gave them. James Torr, a chemist from Rice University, is one of the brains behind this breakthrough. He's pretty pumped, saying these new molecular jackhammers are way faster than previous cancer-fighting molecules. In fact, they move over 1,000,000 times faster than the old school ones. And the real kicker? They work using near-infrared light, which can penetrate deep into the body. That means they could potentially tackle cancer deep in bones and organs without needing surgery. Now, when they tested this on lab-grown cancer cells, it destroyed 99% of them. That's an insane success rate. They also tried it on mice with melanoma, a type of skin cancer, and half of the mice were completely cured. So how does it work? Well, when they hit the aminocyanine molecules with the light, it creates something called plasmons. Basically, tiny electrical waves that get the whole molecule moving. These movements tear the membranes of cancer cells apart. It's like the molecules are equipped with little arms that grab onto the cancer cells and start vibrating until the cells just fall apart. The best part? Cancer cells won't easily be able to defend against this kind of attack, unlike some other treatments that they can resist over time. The scientists are still in the early stages of research, but it's looking really promising. Imagine a future where cancer can be fought without surgery, just by using the power of light and some shaking molecules. We're talking about a totally different way to handle cancer treatment, and it's pretty exciting. This study was published in Nature Chemistry, so if you want to dive deep into the science behind it, that's where you can check it out. All right, and that's your news for the week of September 9th, 2024. I'm your host, Jay Rockwell. You are listening to Beyond the Dark. And when we come back, we are going to talk about the Marfa Lights in Texas. I can't wait to jump into this topic. It's going to be hot. Please always remember you can email us and let's get the discussion rolling. Send us your questions. Send whatever you want. Let's talk. Let's keep the dialogue open. Beyond the Dark Radio at Outlook.com. That's Beyond the Dark Radio at Outlook.com. Shout outs to Mixkid.co, who provides all the music and sounds that you hear right here on Beyond the Dark. If you would like to get your music featured for free here on this show, please, by all means, send me a copy of your music, and I'd be more than happy to promote. So I'll check you guys right back here after this break. Welcome back to Beyond the Dark, the podcast where we explore the strange, the unexplained, and everything that goes bump in the night. I'm Jay Rockwell, and I'm thrilled to have you join me on this journey into the unknown. Whether you're a seasoned believer or just a curious skeptic, there's always something here for you. We dive deep into the weirdest corners of our world, uncovering stories that keep us up at night. Everything from cryptids lurking in the shadows to alien encounters that defy explanation, to paranormal events that make us question the very nature of reality. Tonight, we're turning our attention to a truly mesmerizing phenomenon, the Marfa Lights. If you've never heard of them, don't worry. You're in for a treat. Imagine this. You're standing out in the vast, open landscape of West Texas. The sky above you is pitch black, sprinkled with stars. And suddenly, you see it. Glowing orbs of light, floating in the distance. They flicker, move, and dance, almost as if they have a mind of their own. These are the Marfa Lights, a mysterious sight that has puzzled and captivated people for over a century. Now, the Marfa Lights aren't just a cool local legend. They're a significant part of Texas folklore. They've been spotted for generations, with stories dating back to the late 1800s. Cowboys on the open range, Native American tribes, and countless travelers have all reported witnessing these strange lights. Some say they're spirits, others believe they're alien visitors, and some think there might be a scientific explanation hidden in the mystery. Whatever the case may be, the Marfa Lights have become a cultural icon in Texas, drawing in tourists, researchers, and mystery enthusiasts from all over the world. In tonight's episode, we're going to dive into the history of these lights, explore the various theories, both paranormal and scientific, and share some of the most intriguing first-hand accounts. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's unravel the enigma of the Marfa Lights together. Trust me, by the end of this episode, you'll be just as fascinated, and maybe even a little spooked, as I am. Now that we've set the stage, let's dig into the history of these mysterious Marfa Lights. The story goes back further than you might think, long before the modern highways and tourists with their smartphones. The first recorded sightings of the Marfa Lights date back to the late 19th century, around the 1880s. Imagine it. Ranchers and cowboys roaming the vast plains of West Texas. These were rugged, no-nonsense folks, spending their days herding cattle and their nights under the wide-open Texas skies. The last thing they expected to see were strange lights flickering in the distance. The earliest accounts came from ranchers and settlers who were passing through the area. They described seeing glowing orbs that would appear on the horizon, seemingly hovering above the ground. These lights would dance around, move in erratic patterns, and then just as mysteriously disappear. Now, we're not talking about a simple glimmer or faint light. These were bright, distinct orbs that people swore were unlike anything they'd ever seen. Some early settlers even thought they might be campfires from distant Apaches. But upon closer inspection, no fires or human activity could be found. Even before these recorded sightings, Native American tribes in the region had their own legends and stories about mysterious lights that would appear in the night sky. The Jumano and Apache peoples of the region believed these lights were supernatural in origin, spirits of the land, ancestors returning to deliver messages, or even beings from the stars. These ancient legends, passed down through generations, were deeply woven into the cultural fabric of the tribes, adding a sense of reverence and awe to the lights. Whether they were omens of change, warnings of danger, or guides to safety, the Marfa Lights had a mystical role long before settlers put pen to paper. This blend of oral history and early settler reports gives the Marfa Lights a deep-rooted place in the folklore of West Texas. But as the 20th century approached, the Marfa Lights weren't just whispers around campfires. They were starting to catch the attention of a much larger audience. Fast forward to the 20th century, and things really started to heat up. No pun intended. After World War II, the Marfa Lights gained more widespread attention, thanks in part to improved transportation and the growing interest in all things mysterious and unexplained. The post-war era was a time when people were fascinated by UFOs and the possibility of life beyond Earth. So naturally, a phenomenon like the Marfa Lights became a topic of great interest. During this time, the booming interest in UFO sightings and Cold War tensions made people more open to the unknown. Was it extraterrestrial? A government experiment gone wrong? The Marfa Lights easily slotted into these narratives. Tourists began to flock to Marfa, hoping to catch a glimpse of the lights for themselves. The town started to embrace its reputation, with locals sharing stories, and even a viewing area being set up along Highway 90. In fact, it wasn't long before the Marfa Lights viewing area became a key stop for anyone curious about the supernatural. From lone travelers with a keen interest in the paranormal, to families on road trips hoping for a night of storytelling under the stars, the Marfa Lights created a unique draw for people of all kinds. Throughout the 20th century, the Marfa Lights made headlines. Significant sightings would sometimes attract media coverage, drawing even more curiosity and speculation. In the 1950s and 60s, they were featured in newspapers and on television, cementing their status as one of Texas's great mysteries. TV specials would show grainy footage of the lights, paired with eerie music, sparking debates among viewers. Were these lights proof of extraterrestrial visitors? Or something more terrestrial, but just as baffling? Researchers and scientists started showing up, too, eager to study the phenomenon. Various theories were proposed, everything from reflections of car headlights to atmospheric gases, and even ghostly apparitions. Despite all the attention, no definitive explanation has ever been found, which only adds to the allure and mystery of the Marfa Lights. One notable milestone came in 2004 when a group of scientists from the University of Texas conducted a study using equipment like spectroscopes and cameras to analyze the lights. While they captured data that led them to believe some sightings could be attributed to car headlights from a nearby highway, many sightings couldn't be explained away so easily. This study, like many before and after, left us with more questions than answers. Today, the Marfa Lights remain a popular attraction, drawing visitors from all over the world. People gather at the official Marfa Lights viewing area, hoping to experience the mystery for themselves. It's a phenomenon that has stood the test of time, with a rich history that blends legend, science, and a good dose of the unexplained. Whether you're a skeptic or believer, there's no denying the enduring fascination of the Marfa Lights. Now that we've covered the history, let's get into the real heart of the mystery. What exactly do these Marfa Lights look like? Over the years, countless witnesses have shared their observations, and while no two sightings are exactly the same, there are some common characteristics that stand out. The Marfa Lights are typically described as glowing orbs that appear to float above the ground. These orbs seem to hang, almost suspended in the air, adding an eerie stillness before their erratic movements kick in. The most common colors reported are white, yellow, and orange, but some witnesses have seen red, blue, and even green lights. This spectrum of color variations adds to the intrigue. Why do the lights change? Is it related to atmospheric conditions or something else entirely? And what could cause such a wide range of hues in the first place? These orbs can vary in size, with some being as small as a basketball and others growing to the size of a car. Imagine standing in the dark expanse of West Texas staring out at the horizon when a glowing ball of light, larger than anything you've ever seen, suddenly appears. Their brightness is noticeable. These aren't faint glimmers. They're often described as being as bright as a star or even headlights, visible from miles away. It's as though the sky itself is creating these miniature suns that hover and dance above the earth. In terms of shape, Most sightings describe the lights as round or spherical, but there are accounts of them taking on more elongated or oval shapes. And this is where things start to get even stranger. While the majority of reports focus on the orbs, there are those who claim the lights can sometimes morph, stretching out, twisting, or taking on entirely different forms for brief moments. Well, that's freaky. Sometimes they appear as a single light, while other times multiple lights are visible, scattered across the horizon or clustered together. This clustering effect can make the sighting feel even more surreal, as though you're watching a constellation come to life. The colors and sizes might change mid-sighting, adding to the otherworldly feel of the experience. It's one thing to see a glowing light in the distance, but it's another to watch that light pulse, shift in hue, and multiply before your eyes. This is where things get really interesting. The Marfa lights aren't just stationary, they move in ways that are both fascinating and baffling. Imagine watching a light hover in the distance, only for it to suddenly shoot high off into the sky, faster than any vehicle could ever manage. Witnesses often report the lights as hovering for a while before suddenly darting off at high speeds, changing direction in an instant. Some have seen the lights zigzagging back and forth, while others describe them as bouncing up and down, almost like they're playing. It's as though the lights have their own energy, their own rhythm, following a pattern that seems familiar, but just out of reach. A common observation is that the lights will split into two or more separate orbs, move away from each other, and then merge back together, as if they're part of some coordinated dance. Picture a perfectly synchronized light show, only there's no projector, no source, no explanation. It's moments like these that have left witnesses questioning everything they thought they knew about the physical world. There are also reports of the lights moving in patterns that suggest intelligence, like circling around objects, following roads, or even approaching vehicles or people. This behavior has led many to speculate that the lights could be a form of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, with some level of awareness or control over their movement. It's these unpredictable and seemingly intelligent movements that have kept people guessing and theorizing for decades. It raises an unsettling question. If these lights are aware of us, what do they want? So, when are you most likely to see the Marfa lights? While sightings have been reported at various times of the year, there seems to be a higher frequency during certain conditions. Many witnesses claim that the lights are more visible in clear, dark skies, typically on cool, dry nights. This makes sense given the location. Marfa is situated in a high desert area with minimal light pollution, making the night skies particularly dark and ideal for observing such phenomena. The silence and stillness of the desert landscape create the perfect backdrop for such an eerie spectacle. Interestingly, some people have noted that sightings increase after rainstorms or when the air is particularly still. Could it be the moisture in the air or shifts in atmospheric pressure somehow interact with the lights, making them more visible or altering their behavior? It's been suggested that certain atmospheric conditions might play a role in how often the lights are seen or how they behave. The lights are usually spotted in the same general area, a remote stretch of land near the Chihuahuan Desert south of Marfa. Despite attempts to predict when and where the lights will appear, there's still a level of unpredictability that keeps people coming back, night after night, hoping to witness the spectacle for themselves. Whether it's the vivid colors, the unpredictable movements, or the mysterious circumstances surrounding their appearances, the Marfa Lights continues to captivate and intrigue. They blur the line between the known and the unknown, leaving us to wonder what's really out there, glowing in the dark Texas sky. It's this sense of wonder and the nagging feeling that something extraordinary is just beyond our reach that keeps people fascinated. Alright, let's shift gears and explore the scientific side of the Marfa Lights mystery. While the phenomenon has captured the imaginations of countless people, It has also piqued the interest of scientists and skeptics. Over the years, various theories have been proposed to explain what these lights might be, ranging from atmospheric phenomena to man-made reflections. Let's dive into some of the leading scientific explanations and research conducted to unravel the mystery. One of the most popular scientific theories is that the Marfa Lights are the result of atmospheric conditions, causing light refraction or mirages. The desert air around Marfa can create unique optical effects, especially under certain temperature and humidity conditions. Similar to how a mirage might make distant objects appear closer or in different locations, atmospheric refraction could bend light in unusual ways, making it appear as if glowing orbs are hovering above the ground. The air over the West Texas desert can shift dramatically between hot and cool layers, causing what's known as a temperature inversion. These layers of air, with varying densities and refractive properties, could easily distort light, turning something mundane, like headlights or a campfire, into an unrecognizable orb floating in the distance. Another related theory suggests that geological factors could be at play. Some scientists believe that certain minerals in the area might emit a phosphorescent glow when exposed to specific environmental conditions. Minerals such as quartz and feldspar, which are known to be present in the West Texas region, can sometimes emit faint glows under pressure or when exposed to slight electrical changes. This natural luminescence could explain why the lights appear in certain spots. Perhaps, over time, these minerals could release stored energy in brief flashes, creating the illusion of glowing orbs dotting the landscape. A less common, but still fascinating explanation is the possibility of piezoelectricity, where the movement of the Earth's crust, especially along fault lines, might generate electrical changes that manifest as visible light. Piezoelectricity is typically produced when certain materials, like quartz, are subjected to mechanical stress. In theory, tectonic movements or seismic activity could cause pressure along fault lines, generating these electrical discharges. Although the Marfa region isn't known for frequent seismic activity, the possibility of geological stress creating light phenomena has been explored by researchers investigating similar phenomena around the world. This theory is less supported by hard evidence, but it is intriguing nonetheless. There's also the idea of swamp gas or methane emissions. While Marfa isn't exactly a swampy area, the theory extends to gases released from underground sources. When these gases rise to the surface and become ignited by some unknown trigger, possibly even static electricity in the air, they could produce the brief, glowing lights people see. This explanation is often used to describe ghost lights or will-o-wisps in other parts of the world, so it's not entirely out of the question. Though Marfa lacks the marshy conditions typical of swamp gas emissions, the desert environment could still harbor pockets of gases trapped beneath the surface, waiting for just the right conditions to spark a glowing display. Over the years, various researchers have conducted studies in an attempt to replicate or explain the Marfa lights. One notable study was carried out by scientists from the University of Texas in 2004. They set up a range of equipment, including spectroscopes, cameras, and other monitoring tools at the official Marfa Lights viewing area. During their research, they observed lights similar to the Marfa Lights and concluded that some of these occurrences could be attributed to reflections from car headlights on nearby US Highway 67. According to their findings, under certain conditions, headlights could reflect off layers of air with different temperatures, creating the illusion of glowing orbs in the distance. The temperature inversions mentioned earlier could refract these headlights, making them appear as floating lights far from their actual source. However, not all researchers agreed with this conclusion. Many sightings of the Marfa lights have been reported long before the construction of highways and motor vehicles, suggesting that headlights alone cannot fully explain the phenomenon. The first documented accounts date back to the late 1800s. decades before cars would have been in the area. In addition, sightings that occur when no cars are present or from angles where car lights couldn't be responsible continue to challenge this theory. Despite these contradictions, the headlight reflection hypothesis remains one of the most widely accepted scientific explanations. Another experiment was conducted by a group of scientists from the Society of Physics students at Texas State University in the early 2010s. 2010s? What do you say? I don't know. They used spectrometers to analyze the light's colors and brightness, along with infrared cameras to study any heat signature. While their research was inconclusive, they did note that the lights did not produce significant heat, which would suggest they aren't burning gas or flames. This finding points back to the idea that the lights might be optical illusions rather than physical objects. The lack of heat signatures indicates that whatever the Marfa lights are, they're not combusting gases or solid objects radiating energy in the traditional sense. This only deepened the mystery, as the lights didn't behave like any known natural phenomenon. Of course, with any mysterious phenomenon, there are always skeptics who believe there's a logical, down-to-earth explanation. Some skeptics argue that the Marfa lights are nothing more than misidentified common light sources, such as car headlights, ranch fires, or even airplane lights. According to this viewpoint, people might see these normal light sources under unusual conditions, like through heat waves or temperature inversions, and interpret them as something strange and unexplained. In a desert landscape where visibility stretches for miles and atmospheric conditions can distort distances and shapes, it's easy to see how a distant light could be misperceived as something far more mysterious. Other skeptics believe that the Marfa Lights sightings can be chalked up to psychological factors. They argue that the power of suggestion plays a huge role. If you go out into the desert expecting to see something strange, your mind might play tricks on you, turning distant light sources into mysterious orbs. This concept is known as perceptual priming, where our brains are more likely to see what we expect to see, especially in a setting that's primed for mystery. In this case, if people are told that Marfa is home to unexplained lights, they might subconsciously be more inclined to interpret normal light sources as something unusual. In a way, it's possible that the mind plays a significant role in how we perceive the Marfa lights. While these skeptical perspectives provide food for thought, they don't seem to fully capture the range of experiences reported by so many witnesses over the years. Whether it's car headlights, atmospheric conditions, or something more mystical, the Marfa lights continue to captivate and puzzle both scientists and lay people alike. The truth might lie in a combination of factors, or it might be something we haven't even considered yet. What remains undeniable is the allure of the unknown and the enduring mystery that the Marfa lights present. Now, let's get into the theories that really fire up the imagination. The paranormal and alternative explanations for the Marfa lights. These are the ideas that take us beyond the realm of science and into the world of the unknown. From UFOs to ghost lights, and even theories involving other dimensions, there's no shortage of fascinating possibilities. One of the most popular theories among paranormal enthusiasts is that the Marfa lights are connected to UFOs and extraterrestrial activity. The idea here is that these glowing orbs could be alien spacecraft, or perhaps drones or probes sent to observe our planet. Some have pointed out that the erratic movement of the lights, darting back and forth, splitting apart, and merging together, resembles the behavior reported in many UFO sightings around the world. The remoteness of the Marfa area, with its wide open skies and minimal human interference, would make an ideal location for such encounters. Supporters of this theory often point to the fact that there have been numerous reports of UFO sightings in the broader West Texas region, suggesting that the Marfa lights could be part of a larger pattern of alien activity. Additionally, the light's ability to appear out of nowhere and disappear just as quickly has led some to believe that they could be linked to advanced extraterrestrial technology, capable of cloaking or moving at speeds beyond our comprehension. Another compelling explanation involves the idea of ghost lights or spiritual manifestations. According to this theory, the Marfa Lights could be the spirits of long-lost souls, perhaps Native Americans, early settlers, or even ancient beings tied to the land. This view sees the lights as a kind of supernatural energy, a remnant of past lives or significant events that left an imprint on the environment. The area around Marfa is rich in history, from the presence of Native American tribes to the early pioneers and the cowboy culture of the Old West. It's not too far-fetched to think that such a place might hold spiritual energy. There are also stories that suggest the lights could be a form of communication from the spirit world, like a beacon or a sign from beyond. Some locals believe the lights might be trying to convey a message or warning, although what that message could be is anyone's guess. The notion of ghost lights isn't unique to Marfa. Similar phenomena have been reported in various cultures around the world, often linked to spirits or supernatural occurrences. Whether it's the Brown Mountain Lights of North Carolina or the Min Min Lights in Australia, the idea of glowing orbs representing ritual energy is a recurring theme. If the idea of UFOs or ghost lights doesn't quite fit the bill for you, there are other, more unconventional theories that attempt to explain the Marfa Lights. Some believe that the area around Marfa is located on what are known as ley lines, invisible lines of energy that crisscross the earth, connecting sites of historical and spiritual significance. According to this theory, the lights could be a manifestation of energy flowing through these ley lines, which might also explain why similar phenomena are reported in other parts of the world. Another intriguing idea is that the Marfa Lights could be evidence of dimensional portals or gateways. In this view, the lights represent openings to other dimensions, moments where the fabric of our reality briefly intersects with another. This could explain why the lights appear and disappear so suddenly, and why they behave in ways that defy the laws of physics as we understand them. It's a theory that might sound straight out of science fiction, but it certainly adds an exciting layer to the mystery. Lastly, some theorists suggest that Marfa Lights might be a form of Earth light, a natural but not yet fully understood phenomenon where electrical energy from the Earth itself creates luminous displays. These lights could be the result of interactions between geological and atmospheric conditions, charged particles, and magnetic fields, possibly even influenced by the area's specific topography or mineral composition. Now, let's get into one of the most intriguing aspects of the Marfa Lights: the eyewitness accounts and personal stories. These first-hand experiences are what make the Marfa Lights such a compelling mystery. From locals who have grown up seeing the lights to visitors who have made the journey just for a glimpse, the stories surrounding the Marfa Lights are as varied and fascinating as the lights themselves. Let's start with some accounts from people who have seen the Marfa Lights with their own eyes. Locals in Marfa often talk about the lights as if they're a natural part of life, like the stars in the sky or the wind in the desert. For them, it's just another feature of the West Texas landscape. Some people in Marfa have seen the lights dozens of times, while others only catch a glimpse once or twice in their lives. The lights don't appear on command, so seeing them often requires a good amount of patience and luck. For many, it's a rite of passage to drive out to the Marfa Lights viewing area, park the car, and wait for the show to begin. One longtime resident, an elderly rancher, recalls seeing the lights as a child. He tells the story of how his father would point out the lights while they were out herding cattle at night. He remembers the lights being bright, almost like a lantern swinging in the distance, moving from side to side. It wasn't something that scared him. In fact, it was almost comforting, like a part of the land itself. He described the lights as a quiet presence, something that always felt like it belonged to the landscape as much as the mountains or dry desert brush. For him, the Marfa Lights were a mystery, yes, but not an ominous one. They were part of the rhythm of life in the desert. Then there are the accounts from tourists. people who have traveled from far and wide to see the Marfa Lights. One couple from New York shared their experience of seeing the lights on a clear, cool night. They described how the lights suddenly appeared out of nowhere, two glowing orbs that seemed to float just above the ground. The orbs moved in unison, almost like they were connected by an invisible string. The couple watched in awe as the lights danced for a few minutes before fading into the darkness. For these visitors, the experience was nothing short of magical, a moment that defied explanation and left them with more questions than answers. They left Marfa feeling like they had witnessed something extraordinary, a piece of the universe's deeper mysteries. Some of the most captivating stories are those where people claim to have had close encounters with the lights. One local woman recounts a story from her teenage years when she and some friends decided to drive out to a remote part of the desert far from the viewing area. They had heard that you could get a closer look at the lights if you ventured away from the crowds. As they sat in their truck, the lights appeared, much closer than they had ever seen before. One orb of light drifted towards their vehicle, coming so close that they could see it illuminating the desert floor. She described the light as having an almost ethereal glow, unlike anything she had seen before. The woman described a feeling of static electricity in the air, almost like the atmosphere was charged. Her friends, equally stunned, sat in silence as the orb hovered just outside the truck for what felt like several long moments. Then, just as quickly as it had appeared, the light shot straight up into the sky and vanished. They were left in stunned silence, wondering if what they had just witnessed was real. To this day, she remembers the encounter as one of the strangest moments of her life, an event she can't explain, but will never forget. Another compelling story comes from a retired military officer who was stationed at the Marfa Army Airfield during World War II. He tells of a night when he was on patrol and saw a formation of lights moving across the horizon. At first, he thought it was an aircraft, but there was no sound and no solid object he could see. Just a series of lights moving in perfect synchronization. He reported the sighting to his superiors, who dismissed it as nothing more than a trick of the light. But the officer remains convinced to this day that what he saw was something otherworldly. He recalls how the lights seemed to glide across the landscape, changing directions in ways no known aircraft could. The encounter has haunted him ever since, a reminder that not everything in this world can be neatly explained. As we sift through eyewitness accounts, a few recurring themes and patterns start to emerge. First, the element of surprise. Most people who see the Marfa lights aren't expecting it. They appear out of nowhere, often when least expected. This unpredictability adds to their mystique and keeps people returning night after night, hoping to catch a glimpse. The lights don't operate on any predictable schedule, and part of the magic is their ability to shock and amaze at any given moment. Another common theme is the feeling of awe and wonder. Witnesses frequently describe a sense of amazement when they see the lights. There's something about these glowing orbs in the vast, empty desert that strikes a chord. Excuse me. Making people feel like they're experiencing something truly special. Even skeptics who don't believe in the paranormal often find themselves questioning what they've seen. The lights inspire a deep curiosity, a need to understand what's going on beneath the surface of this unexplained phenomenon. And then there's the sensation of a presence. Some people report feeling like the lights are watching them, almost as if they have an awareness of being observed. This has led to many theories about the lights being more than just a natural phenomenon, perhaps something intelligent or conscious. This eerie feeling is difficult to describe, but for those who have experienced it, it leaves a lasting impression. The idea that the lights might be aware of human observers brings an entirely new layer to the mystery, hinting at possibilities that go beyond the physical. These eyewitness accounts and personal stories provide a rich tapestry of experiences, each adding to the legend of the Marfa Lights. Whether they're seen as a natural wonder, a supernatural occurrence, or something else entirely, one thing is certain. The Marfa Lights continue to captivate all who are fortunate enough to witness them. It's these personal stories that keep the legend alive, fueling curiosity and wonder about what exactly these lights are and what they mean. Let's wrap up our discussion of the Marfa Lights by looking at their cultural impact and how they've been represented in media. The Marfa Lights are more than just a mysterious phenomenon. They've become a significant part of local culture and a driving force behind tourism and the economy in this small West Texas town. In Marfa, the lights are more than a curiosity. They're a local legend that has become deeply embedded in the town's identity. Over the years, the Marfa Lights have inspired festivals, events, and local traditions that celebrate this enduring mystery. One of the most popular events is the annual Marfa Lights Festival, held every Labor Day weekend. The festival features live music, food vendors, parades, and, of course, plenty of stories about the Marfa Lights. It's a time when locals and visitors alike come together to celebrate the town's unique charm and its connection to the unexplained. Local businesses have also embraced the mystique of the Marfa Lights. You'll find restaurants and bars named after the lights, gift shops selling Marfa Lights themed merchandise, and even artwork inspired by the phenomenon. It's a way for the community to celebrate its heritage and share the mystery of the lights with newcomers and tourists. The Marfa Lights have captured the attention of filmmakers, writers, and documentarians, appearing in various forms of media over the years. They've been featured in several documentaries that explore the mystery of unexplained phenomena and have made appearances in TV shows dedicated to paranormal investigations. Shows like Unsolved Mysteries and Ancient Aliens have taken on the story of the Marfa Lights, presenting it as one of the world's enduring enigmas. In the world of film, the Marfa Lights have even influenced the aesthetic and setting of certain movies. The vast, open landscapes of West Texas, with their clear skies and remote atmosphere, provide a perfect backdrop for tales of mystery and the unknown. Some fictional works, while not directly about the Marfa Lights, draw on the eerie, otherworldly vibe that the lights have come to symbolize. Books and articles about unexplained phenomena often include sections on the Marfa Lights, solidifying their place in the broader lore of ghost lights and UFO sightings. These stories not only keep the legend alive, but also introduce the mystery to new generations of curious minds. The Marfa Lights play a crucial role in drawing visitors to Marfa, which has become a destination for those interested in the paranormal, as well as art and culture. The town's viewing area, specifically set up for the Marfa Lights sightings, is a popular attraction when people gather nightly, hoping to witness the lights for themselves. This influx of tourists has provided a significant boost to the local economy, supporting hotels, restaurants, and shops. Tourism related to the Marfa Lights has brought international attention to this small town, putting it on the map as a hotspot for both mystery seekers and those looking to experience the unique culture of West Texas. Whether it's a group of friends on a road trip, a family seeking adventure, or researchers coming to study the lights, the Marfa Lights have a way of drawing people in and making Marfa a place they won't forget. As we come to the end of our journey exploring the Marfa Lights, it's clear that this phenomenon is as much a part of the mystery and beauty of West Texas as the desert itself. We've delved into the history of these lights, starting with the first recorded sightings by ranchers and Native Americans in the late 19th century. We explored how the Marfa Lights gained popularity after World War II, becoming a local legend and a symbol of the unknown. We've examined the various theories that attempt to explain what these lights could be, from scientific explanations involving atmospheric refraction, geological factors, and man-made reflections like car headlights, to more paranormal and alternative ideas, such as UFOs, ghost lights, and even theories about dimensional portals or ley lines. Each theory brings its own perspective, and despite numerous studies, none have been able to definitively solve this mystery. We heard compelling eyewitness accounts from locals who have seen the lights all their lives to visitors who have had close encounters. These personal stories add a human touch to the mystery, showing that the Marfa Lights are more than just a phenomenon. They're a part of the community's identity and a shared experience that connects people across generations. In terms of cultural impact, the Marfa Lights have influenced local traditions, inspired artists and filmmakers, and played a significant role in boosting tourism and the local economy. They've put Marfa on the map as a must-see destination for those intrigued by the mysterious and unexplained. So what do I think the Marfa Lights might be? Honestly, I'm not sure. If there's I don't even know if there's an explanation that fits all these sightings. The rational side of me leans towards natural atmospheric phenomena, maybe combined with the unique landscape of the area. Yeah, I get it. I can buy that. But then there are the eyewitness accounts that make you wonder if there's something more. Is there something more going on to this story? Whether it's an undiscovered natural phenomenon or something beyond our current understanding, the Marfa Lights remains a mystery. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Marfa Lights. Have you seen them for yourself? What do you think they might be? Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a scientist, or a paranormal enthusiast, your opinions and experiences add to the rich tapestry of this mystery. Feel free to reach out and share your stories or theories by shooting me an email at beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. Who knows, maybe your perspective will bring us one step closer to solving the mystery of the Marfa Lights. Thank you for joining me on this exploration tonight. Next time on Beyond the Dark, we'll be traveling to Peru to unravel another ancient mystery, the Nazca Lines. These giant geoglyphs etched into the desert floor have puzzled archaeologists and researchers for decades. Are they astronomical calendars, sacred pathways, or messages to the gods? Or perhaps even something stranger? Tune in to find out. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies and stay curious. This is Jay Rockwell signing off from Beyond the Dark.